Hello and welcome. In today's tutorial I want to give you some tips and tricks about how to make your sound really nice and big and full. It's going to be just a quick tutorial with these tips I like to use. So for this purpose I've prepared a quick short demo. It's a future house demo and I'm going to demonstrate the techniques I like to use here. So let me play it. So as you can hear, the sounds are already really nice and full, but we can make them sound even better. So I took these three synths from here and grouped them into the fourth channel, and the first tool I'm going to use Isotope Ozone 7, and this plugin is just amazing. It has its own modules, as you can see here. It has its own equalizer, EQ, exciter, many amazing things. But the thing we are going to use, we don't need these, so we can just bypass them. We are going to use the imager, and what the imager is a module which allows us to adjust the stereo width of our mix using these multiband stereo imaging modules. As you can see, we can adjust the stereo of this band separately. I tend to leave these settings as they are because I don't think they need some edits, and we can adjust the stereo with these sliders, but keep in mind that don't do this because you think, yeah, it will give a lot of stereo widening it, but it's going to do problems with phase. As you can see here, we've got our vector scope, which provides the view of stereo image of the signal, and we're running a polar sample vector scope mode, which shows us the dots per sample. I'll play it so you can see everything. We got a clicking. Why the hell it's clicking? Okay, so as you can see, the majority of those dots are in this triangle, and that's right, because it means that we are in phase. There can be some dots here and here, but the majority always should be in this triangle. It's the same thing as the correlation meter, which show us the correlation between left and right channel. It should always be in positive values. It shouldn't go to negative values, because that means that we are running out of phase and we are having phase problems. I don't know what's clicking. Then check the audio options. Oh. Alright. So I'm going to. I don't think this band needs a stereo widening. I'll just saw it, play it. The low frequencies of the basses are concentrated here, and I don't think they need much widening, so we'll just use a little bit. We are probably not even going to hear the difference. So I'm going to unsolo this band, and I'm going to solo this band and play it. Okay, these sounds might get some stereo widening because they sound really good, and they sound even better if they are something like spread into space. So we can use a lot of widening here. As you can see, if I turn this slider too much up, we are running out of phase, so I'll leave it just like this. So I'm going to unsolo this band and play this band. This band is above 2 kHz, and the highest frequencies are concentrated here, and we can just give it a little bit of stereo widening, I think. As long as we are not running out of phase, it's fine. We can even check it in this correlation spectrum view. We should never see some red values under this middle line. So I'm gonna switch back to the crossover view, and I'm gonna solo the last band, which is the high. Those high frequencies are concentrated here, and we can just give it a little bit. I don't think so. And if you have an advanced version of this isotope ozone plugin, you can use this feature called stereoizer, and it gives even more stereo. I don't really think how it works, but it usually sounds great, and you can use it if you have this advanced version of isotope. Unsolo this. We can give it just a little bit stereoizing. I apologize for the crackling. I don't know what it's caused. I probably don't have strong enough CPU. So I think this isotope ozone is really good for making your sound really big and full. And the other thing I like to use is introducing a micro delays on your synth, because it's not actually a real delay, because you don't actually hear the delay, because it has a really small decay time. I'll show you how it looks. I like to use a replica delay because it's really nice for this purpose, and I leave it on modern dot. I'm gonna turn the mix down a little down, and I'm gonna use 164 delay. It's actually you don't actually hear the delay, but it gives it the wideness. I guess it actually I can actually hear it. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it does some cool job. And the third thing I like to use is introducing a stereo shaper, which is a thing from which you can find in FL Studio, and it's really cool plugin that allows us to work with phases of left and right channels, and we can even change the volume of those channels, and we can introduce the delays between left and right channels. And you should always keep in mind that you can easily run out of phase with this plugin, so you should always be aware of it. So I'm going to introduce a little delay, about 1 millisecond is right. I guess it sounds good, but I don't know if we are not running out of phase, so we can check it easily in this. Probably we are not running out of phase, and that's actually fine. I like to use, you can use whatever you want as long as it sounds good. You don't even need to care about this, but you should not run out of phase, because it means that your left and right channel does not have the similarity. There is no correlation between those channels, and it can sound actually weird. If you are running out of phase just a little, the correlation meter sometimes jumps under the 0, and it shows at the red color. Actually, it can sound good, and you don't even need to notice this thing. But if you are running completely out of phase, you should deal with it, because it can cause a lot of problems. So these are the tips I like to use here. You can basically try them with any synth you like. You don't need to care about this. So I hope you liked it, and see you next time with more tutorials.